Kara, I just heard Amy joking to Emily about Jimmy's behavior since his parents broke up. I really think that information is private. I'm kind of taken aback. She didn't seem to care about his feelings. He's going through a lot. You're right. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. It's not professional and it goes against our confidentiality policy. I know. The policy's laid out in our parent handbook. It doesn't seem like your staff care. Well, they should. It's something that we are required to uphold as part of Section 40 of the Saskatchewan Child Care Licensee Manual. We protect all personal information and discuss it only in private, even then, only with people who need to know. This shouldn't have happened. I apologize. I'll deal with this right away. Okay, so what happens now? Well, first, I'm going to have a word with the staff involved to discuss how serious this is. Then I'm going to meet with my whole team and we'll review matters that are only to be discussed in private, not in hallways, not in entrances, or any other shared spaces. I'm going to make sure that this is documented and that we have corrective actions that follow our staff policies. I'll get back to you after it's been addressed. Thanks. I appreciate the follow-up. You're always welcome. And I really appreciate you letting me know right away that this happened. I want to make sure that everyone's information is treated confidentially. Hey, Kara? Yes. Yeah, I'm just going through the staff files here, and I'm not seeing that Amy has all her required qualifications. Could you find them for me? Right. I can explain. Amy was hired when we had a staff shortage this past winter, and she started the process for the schooling, but her acceptance of the program hasn't come through. I forgot to follow up with it. I guess I didn't write the reminder in my follow-up. Huh. Well, I understand. Shortages happen, especially in this field, but the regulations make this very clear. All staff working directly with children must meet the qualification standards or fall under an approved plan. Right. I get it. I just thought since we were so short and she does have the pending application, as of right now, your staff does not fully meet with the qualifications and requirements outlined in Section 42, which requires that all child care workers must meet the minimum education standards, and Section 44, which outlines that due to the amount of hours that Amy is working, she must have her current first aid and CPR certificate. So, can she still work here while we get this sorted out? Well, yes, but unfortunately, Amy will need to be removed from direct childcare duties until she's either qualified or approved. You're going to need to write an action plan by the end of today, outlining the timelines for Amy's training and what her duties will be in the meantime. You'll need to contact her school immediately to request confirmation of her application for approval and any course progress that she's made in the past. Right. But it sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but these are the required regulation standards that all facilities must comply with. I would recommend a thorough review of all staff files to ensure that your staff meet the requirements and that you implement some type of tracking system, which will include follow-up reminders so that you can properly assign duties in the future. I will make sure that all of this is completed today so that our staffing reflects our qualification levels. Excellent. I will need the written plan and the confirmation that Amy is no longer counted in the staffing ratios. Now, I will let you get to work. Hey, Kara, I just saw Amy in the parking lot, and she mentioned she's leaving early to pick up her criminal record check. I thought all the staff had to have them complete before they started working here. Yeah, under Section 45, our staff are required to complete their criminal record check and vulnerable sector check before having unsupervised access to children. So why was she allowed to start? Well, here's what happened. Amy was hired in the winter when we were very short staffed. Her CRC was submitted, but it took forever to complete for some reason, so we decided to start her orientation and training. But she is required to have another staff person with her, meaning she's not allowed to be alone with any of the children at any time. I still worry about it. I mean, what if it comes back that she has a record she didn't disclose? You're right. We should have communicated this more clearly and ensured that all documentation was complete. So what are you going to do? I promise. Child safety is always our top priority. I contacted all of Amy's references prior to hiring her, and no one had any concerns. Also, Amy's not currently handling any solo childcare duties, and she won't be until her CRC is fully completed. We're currently reviewing our hiring procedures to be sure that any new staff meet all of the requirements before starting, supervised or not. I will make sure that a checklist for each employee is created and set reminders following up with the employees to keep their documentation current and complete. When Amy's CRC is returned, I will let you know and all the other families know that she is clear to work with the children. Thanks. I would appreciate that. You are welcome. And please don't hesitate to call me if you ever have any questions. Making sure that the children is safe is my number one priority, after all. Hello, Little Learner Center. This is Kara. Kara, this is Martin, Jimmy's dad. Jimmy was talking to me about his trip to the museum today, and he mentioned that he went exploring the museum by himself. How is he allowed to wander the museum by himself? He's only 4. I need an explanation how this happened. Martin, hi. Thank you for the call. Yeah, Jimmy did separate from the group today, but I want to assure you he did not go on quite as much of an adventure as he may have told you. While we were moving through the exhibits, Jimmy did walk into another exhibit, but he was noticed right away, and he was brought right back with the group by another one of our staff. That does seem like something he would do. But I don't like that he got away from the group in the first place. What kind of supervision did you have today? Yeah, we have an excursion plan that follows Section 54 of the Saskatchewan Child Care Licensee Manual. It's called Supervision on Excursions, if you wanted to look it up. It is in your parent manual. So for today's trip, we had the required number of staff for our group size, and the staff were placed at the front and back of the group. We make sure to take head counts regularly, and we assign children to specific adults. Jimmy was noticed within a few seconds of stepping away. He hadn't even made it out of sight. It still shouldn't have happened. It only takes a second for something to happen. And even though Jimmy didn't get far and he wasn't in any danger, it just shows we can improve things on our end. I will be sure to review our excursion policy with all of my staff and add additional head counts, especially when moving between exhibits. We can also reduce the number of children assigned to each staff person and have the kids wear matching clothing so that they're quickly identified as part of our group. So once I have reviewed this, I will update our excursion procedures in the parent manual, and I will notify all the families of our improvements. Thanks. I just want to make sure this doesn't happen again. Of course. Yeah, I appreciate you calling me with a concern. Anything else, just let me know. Yeah, have a good one. Bye. Hi, Little Learner Center. This is Kara. Kara, this is the licensing officer. I have a report here from a community member that saw a group from your center on a walk today. They mentioned that only one staff member was present with the group. She said that staff member appeared to be texting a lot of the time. I'm calling to follow up with the report. Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I take this very seriously. Both Amy and Emily were scheduled for that walk today. Based on this report, one of them must have stepped away or fallen behind. And you are aware that under Section 35, children must be supervised closely during neighborhood walks with appropriate staffing ratios and clear supervision procedures. Yes, I am aware. I don't know what happened, but This is outside of our standard of care. It shouldn't have happened. We have clear procedures for walks, and the plan for today included the required child to staff ratio, with one staff member in the front and one staff member in the back of the group. They know to do head counts, and each of them were assigned specific children. We also made our route plan for the day, and we communicated this with all of the staff. I'm glad to hear that you do have these steps in place, but I need to ensure this doesn't happen again. I'm going to need you to review Section 53 with all your staff and require that both assigned staff always remain visible with the group, without exceptions. I'd recommend that you implement a pre-walk checklist and remind your staff that phones and other distractions are not permitted unless for emergency communication. Might be a good idea to perform spot checks during scheduled walks to ensure staff are following the standards. Remember, document all the walks, including names of staff, the route, and head counts. I'm going to need documentation of your updated procedures and confirmation that you've done the staff review. Yeah, absolutely. I will get those to you right away. I appreciate the call. Whoa, Jimmy. Wow, you sound like you've been playing really hard. Why don't we sit down for a minute? Hey, Emily, doesn't Jimmy have an inhaler for asthma? I don't know. Did you look in his chart? What does it say? Let me see. Well, it does say mild asthma here, but that he usually has a dose in the afternoons of an inhaler, but there currently isn't any authorization listed for the medication. Should I check his backpack anyway for the inhaler? Well, you can't give him medicine that isn't authorized. Okay, so what do we do? How's he doing now? He looks fine now. Don't worry about it. He's probably just running around too hard anyway. He'll be fine. Little Learner Center, Kara speaking. Kara, this is Jimmy's dad. Again. Martin, hi. How can I help you? I'm really upset. Jimmy needed his inhaler today, and Emily told me they didn't give it to him. They said it wasn't authorized in his chart. He could have had a serious asthma attack. How could this have happened? I am so sorry that this happened. Let me open his file. Okay. Okay. Yes. Well, the staff were correct. We don't have the written authorization to administer his inhaler. Under Section 27, we are required to have written authorization from the parent, clear instructions for administering the medication, and have the medication in its original label. Because we didn't have this information, the staff were not legally permitted to give Jimmy any medication. Okay, fine. But why did no one call me to get my authorization? I'm sorry. I don't know. While the staff did follow the regulation correctly, we should have communicated with you earlier that his health file was incomplete and needed an update. Staff should have contacted you immediately. What are you going to do to ensure this doesn't happen again? I'm going to email you the authorization form right now. If you can get this back to me tomorrow, I will make sure to get this in Jimmy's file. Once I have it, I will review it with all of our staff and make sure everyone understands the protocol. After that, I will make sure that we have a health and medication section added to our tracking system so that all of the parents, yourself included, will be notified well in advance when documentation needs to be updated in their child's file. I'm also going to ensure that the staff know they need to contact parents immediately if medication cannot be administered for any reason. I'll have the parent and staff manuals updated to reflect these changes, and I'll put a bulletin out when they are. Thanks. I appreciate that, and I'll look for the form in my email. Thanks, Martin. Again, I am so sorry.